Yo, Sean, are you there?
What was that?
Have you done the quest stuff yet?
I did the first quest. I'm kind of stuck on the second one.
How do I like I can't even enter my quest name. Like not letting me.
What is the quest name that you
Like-
had?
Am I supposed to enter the name of the quest or my like
Yeah. So the first quest, it should be on like. Do you know the name of the first quest?
nah, but so I'm supposed to put that in there?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Like
Thank
on
you.
Zoom, or not on Zoom, on
Yeah, on Canvas.
on Canvas. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah, I think is it just gonna be like is it just data representation, for example, or
So there's like a code. There's like a secret code to each quest.
Mhm.
Right? And then so as soon as you finish the first quest, you'll get the code for the second quest, right? But
Mhm.
the code for the first quest should be an announcement in Canvas.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
It's one of like the first posts. I don't know if it's still up there. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Click on like welcome to 2A. Do you see it in announcements?
Is it oh, okay, I see.
You see it?
Yeah.
Hey, all right,
Good morning.
right, great. Writer. All right, yeah, welcome. Well, it's only 8:03. So yeah, feel free to switch on your cameras anytime. We'll just wait for other people to join, okay? So you
Yeah,
can
well,
carry on your conversation.
I
You
just
know,
had a quick question. So which of these is supposed to be like what? This whole thing is the password?
A tiger named Fangs, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and you just type that in the quest, and then you should be able to do it. Yeah, and then once you finish,
All right,
it,
thank you.
next code. Yeah.
actually, you know what? Hey, Noah, can you go back to that page again? Can you share that page again?
Yeah, sure.
I want to see.
What,
Not this. Can you just click on that link that I put? I don't know if. There you go. It should say. Oh, it actually goes to the home page. I thought it went directly into the Tiger. Okay. All right. No worries. Okay. Sorry. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Because if you enter the password, you get to a page, right, where you drop the file.
Mm-hmm.
I could have just put the link to that page in the announcement. So you click there and you go directly to, but I don't know. This is better, I think, maybe. So you get a chance to type it in. I don't know. You haven't tried it yet. So what I said probably doesn't even make sense to you now. So don't worry. Yeah, I can switch off my camera, guys. And you can keep talking for maybe 10 more minutes. Is that okay? Yeah, Yuha, you're going to code today, right? Yuha, you're going to code, right?
Yeah, that's
okay. Good. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Ali and Brittany are here. We'll wait for a few more people. You just carry on your conversation, okay? I'll just switch off my video. But call out to me if you need me to, have any input in your conversation. But I'm very happy to come back. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. So for the questing stuff, like we just have to put our student ID at the top, and that's how you're gonna like tell whose it is.
So yeah. Just put your ID on in the top, and it doesn't have to be your student ID. But if you put your student ID in, it's convenient because you don't have to forget, and your scores will get transferred and so on, right?
And then when are like the grades for the quests going to be entered? Like, is that like happening throughout the term, or is that just like are you putting that all in at the end?
What do you mean grades? Where you'll see the points for your quest immediately as soon as you submit them.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, immediately. So yeah, then try the first few, then you'll get a feel for it. Okay. So as soon as you put your source file in the button and press it, you should get the score in under a minute.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can, and then you can go to that /q site, and then it'll tell you that's a permanent, not a permanent. That's a, you know, during the quarter it's permanent anyway. That is a place where you would go to see all the quests you've completed, how many trophies you got in each. That's all. You know, just do the first few, and you'll get the hang of it. You know, it seems kind of strange, but I think you'll find it's intuitive. Don't worry. Okay, and you can always ask. You can always ask. And I think the thing to keep in mind, not just with questing, any service, right? Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, is it's very hard to break these things now, even if you try. So, so people in the past used to be more concerned about crashing things and crashing websites and crashing servers and so on. But this has happened so frequently that, you know, engineers have found a way around it. To say, well, you know, there's no point in putting out the fires, so we'll just learn to deal with the fires, and that turned out to be a much more fruitful avenue of exploration. And so many times, so if you go and code online, you're just coding in a sandbox that's given to you, right? And they don't care. And after you log out, it's going to evaporate anyway. Right, so essentially, you're just getting free bits, free electricity from somewhere in the world. Yeah. So if you run your program on a machine that is hosted in Italy, right, Replete, I think I have Ripple.it. Maybe the domain name is right. So let's assume the server is in Italy, and you run a complex program and get a result. And maybe you do it in the public library, right? Who's paying for it? You know, the computation happened using Italian coal mines, yes, because that's the electricity that was used up. So these days, and that is so cheap. That's what I mean, right? So it's all so cheap now these days that there's no point in charging for, you know, these little virtual machines that people give you. So you can feel free. That's what I mean, right? You can feel free. You can feel free to just run amok in the questing system. The only place you cannot run amok in these days is human-mediated areas like Stack Overflow and the Reddit, and you know, places where you're going to interact with other humans. And that's a place where you cannot run amok, because, you know, the AI and the computer can tolerate a lot more than humans. That's my take on it anyway. So you just feel free. Just play with it, okay? I'm not going to penalize any of you for playing around with the questing system, or, you know, and so on. Even on Reddit, right? If it's related to the area, and you should just feel free to talk, right? And I told you, it doesn't even have to be on Reddit. It could be on Stack Overflow. Maybe you're having an intelligent conversation with someone on Stack Overflow. And maybe not even directly related to computer science. Maybe you're doing it in math, right? And I think there's a math overflow or something like that, something similar, right? But you think, well, you know, it's kind of related to what I'm learning in computer science. So, and you make a mention of it in the blue subreddit. And that is all worth a lot of points. I think I mentioned this before, right? So it just doesn't have to be on our forums. It can be anywhere, as long as you draw our attention to it and say, hey, I've done this really cool thing out there. Maybe on my company blog even. That's fine, right? Because maybe not in 2A, but in 2B and 2C, sometimes I have some of the professionals also do the classes, and they are working. And sometimes they can also point to some of the blog entries on their company websites and say, hey, you know, that was me. All of those are valuable to not just to yourself, but you also get points for those things.
Got it.
Hey, yeah. Who's that? Sean.
Yeah, that's me. Good morning.
Did you have a question?
No, I was just saying got it.
Oh, you said got it.
Yeah. No, the first question should be like fairly easy. Like we basically did the first question class.
Yeah, the first question. Yeah, it has to be. You just need to get used to the questing system there. You know, you should be writing C++ there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be fun, and keep going all the way to CS2C. Well, even if you don't do 2B and 2C with me, I'm thinking maybe this summer is probably too early for you guys, but I'm thinking of offering an internship at Nonlinear Media for over the summer break, and working on some of my projects. But that person will have to, the applicant will have to have completed all of the 9, in each of the levels, and aced all of them too. But doesn't mean you have to ace them now, right? For 2A, you don't have to ace any of them. So you has to get through them. But in your own time, if you're excited about computer science and you go back and polish these things and find these things out, and if you're interested, you can absolutely, after you complete the 9th quest of Red, you can apply if it's in time. But I'll offer it again maybe some other time.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Do you recommend like saving the passwords to the following quest like on your computer or something, or is there?
I don't know. It's up to you. Just don't share them.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I just took a picture on my phone so I don't forget.
No, it'll be on the /Q site anyway, right? Until the end of the quarter. If
Oh,
you go
really?
to the /Q site, it'll just show you everything that you've completed, or even incomplete ones. Everything you've attempted, it'll show you.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, well, along with all the passwords. Along with all maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll say not passwords, but maybe just say tiger, duck, and so on and so forth, right? Because then it frees you up to take photos and share them too on all these other forums.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to /Q and enter your student ID, and that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be a student ID, right? Anyone anywhere in the world can do all these 9 quests, and they can still apply, I think, to an internship. But essentially, if you use your student ID, pick it up, but you don't have to. Suppose you have a cousin or some nephew or someone, a little kid who wants to play around with Blue, and give them an ID, Big Joe or Little Joe or something like that. Let them play with it and find out and keep track of it, and then learn to love computer science too, right?
Yeah.
That is the reason I keep saying this, right? Because in many hobbies I've tried, everything costs time, effort, and money. A lot more than CS. CS is the cheapest way to entertain yourself in a fulfilling way. Even art, writing, everything costs a lot more.
You actually get money from it.
Plus, technically you get money from anything you do with, even if you, I know painters who did chalk graffiti, right, on San Francisco, on the pavements of San Francisco, and I walk by them and people are just showering it with cash, and
really?
Because they're so good, right? So so even if you're really good, you can, and then they don't care, most of these people, right? And so some of the musicians who play in pubs and all, right? But many of them, the bass guitarists, and so many of them just don't care. They just want to have a chance to come and show what they've got. Yeah. Yeah, so technically you can make a money, but yeah, you're right, Sean. Yeah, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to make money in all these other avenues. Here, you can. I remember, I remember a couple of months, maybe in 2019. Most of the questions, all of the questioning system, in fact, was put together on my sofa on my bed. Right, just sitting there, and I was showing my kids a circle and spinning. Hey, do you like the effect and all? And that happened, one night, 8 p.m. or something. Right, so I remember all of that, and so all of that you can do, right? So I can show you, right? I can show you how to do something like that, and it's also cheap and available, and anyone can do this these days. There's no magic to any of that. So. If you just pursue down this road, and that's what I mean, right? So I didn't have to be, I didn't have to do any of this even on Foothill equipment, right? So just on old laptops at home. And so you don't even need sophisticated equipment to just sit down and code. And in fact, you don't even need your own, right? Because if you just devote 2 or 3 hours a week, a day, and most of the rest of the time you're working on a notebook and so on, 2 or 3 hours a day, you go to the library, right? And you use a public computer. And then log into your AWS or Google account using a credit card, and you only pay for the compute cycles. Right, which is far less than what you would pay even at Starbucks, buying coffee for the internet, right? And so So it is all so cheap that, the sky really is the limit. You don't, ultimately, you'll get to a stage where you say, I can get whatever the hell I want, right? So what's the point anymore? So I need to get to the next level, right? So because the technology and what's available out there will equip you with sufficient expertise, not sufficient expertise to basically just say, what is the next level, right? And you need, and CS is a great way to get there, right? Because it basically just unleashes the whole universe right in front of you, and then you can ask, what can I get after that? Anyway, what time is it? It's only 8:16. How about you guys continue talking? I can turn it around, right? Or I can switch off my camera. And we'll start coding at 8:30. I want to do one more thing today, right? So let's pick up the same code that, I know what Keenan's gone. Hey, thank you, Brittany, for switching on the camera. Ali and Kai, you guys also have to switch on the camera at some point, 8:30 or so, right? Not right now. And so when Keenan is back, or hopefully, who else was coding last time? Keenan and someone else. Maybe Yuha will pick up today. We'll just go to the same thing. We'll add one more thing under the for, okay? In my section, I want to show you a couple of ways of doing while loops, okay? Looping, right? Just a couple of ways of doing looping. And then same as before. And then we'll have a whole bunch of chunks. And in fact, we can break it out into multiple programs too, if you want, because we found out in Keenan, when Keenan was running it, we saw that we could have, that's right, yeah, maybe we'll just break it up into multiple main programs, right? Because we could have Noah.cpp, Sean.cpp, Yuha.cpp. You can have multiple CPP files. Each one of them, you could have self-contained programs. We should not all write in the same program today, right? In fact, let's do that today, right? Let's do that today. We'll have multiple CPP files, right? And then each one can create their own. And then we found out that's actually very cool, right? I didn't realize that was possible in coding rooms, right? So we'll use coding rooms because you can run individual files. So we can actually then go and run Noah.cpp, right? And then Brittany.cpp. And so we can run one at a time. And then you can model after each other, right? And I'll do one with, whoever is coding, I'll do one. And the rest of you guys can just model after that. How about that? That's really cool, right? And then you'll all get to code in your own little windows. And then when we run them, we'll just run one at a time and see the outputs. How about that? Is that a cool way to do it? Yeah, and I'll do one. So yeah, I'll do one. So you can basically just say that is, I'll take that and improvise upon that, right? So I'll give you the basic structure. And then you can take that and say, well, you know what? I'm going to try variation. I'm going to try calculating something else, or maybe I'm going to try a different kind of while loop, right? Or different kind of for loop, or something like that. Some crazy thing, just a 5 or 6 line program, and then we'll just step through each of the tabs or whatever it is called, right? The tabs or. No, I don't think it gives you tabs. It basically just lists all the CPP files, and then you can right click on the CPP file, and then I think you say run test.cpp or run ali.cpp or something like that. But we'll find out, right? We'll find out when someone's got that link. I don't know who's got that link. I mean, Keenan had the link, but he's not here today yet. Fernando is here. He hasn't switched on the camera. You guys should basically just, reach out to these people because, I think maybe you are. Ali, yeah, that's fine. No worries. Yeah, I don't read the chat actually because it takes up too much real estate. So I'm going to post it again. Yeah, sorry. So just speak up and don't only when you're coding. You just have to feel free to make yourself known. That's great.
I'm here, Mr. Anand.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Was that Fernando who was talking?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, all right, great.
Yes.
Because I think Quinn also just joined. Hey, am I pronouncing your name right? Because the spelling basically keeps throwing me off because sometimes it's written as Juan and sometimes it's June, and I think on Reddit it shows up at something else altogether. So there's 3 different pronunciations or 3 different spellings. So I don't know how to pronounce your name. And you're not speaking up also. You're not also speaking up. Maybe you can just respond to me by email, okay? Respond to me by email saying, well, this is the one standard pronunciation or spelling I'd like to use, right? Because who knows? Maybe if there's someone else called June in my class, why risk the confusion?
Sorry. You mainly it pronounce Juan. I think
Huan, right? So Huan.
So I changed my name is June. I think it's similar, and I could get when you calling me. So you could just call me
June is fine. June is fine, but I wanted to try, right? I wanted to try to say Huan, right? Because I may have other students with the same name, and I could surprise them, right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. So you should just feel free to correct me if I've right, because next quarter maybe someone comes with the same name and I can say, hey, how are, and they say, oh, they're totally surprised, and that'll be really cool.
Thank you. I changed the name just in case you calling me and I didn't get it.
Don't worry. My only request is that use the same spelling all over, right? So Reddit, Canvas, and Zoom, I think is this Canvas or Zoom? I don't know. Maybe Zoom has a different login. But yeah, use the same word, so it's easier for me.
Okay. I will change the name. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because I think also, if I'm not mistaken, I think Juan, Juan, is actually it is in fact a valid Spanish name too, right? And that's why I'm confused. So if it was obvious misspellings, like if Jennifer, if Jennife, right? Then I know it's probably an obvious misspelling, right? So maybe an R missing or something like that. But if it's a misspelling that is like another name, then it throws me off. That's all. All right. Hey, no worries. I just want you to be interactive, okay? Last class I spoke both to you and Fernando. I think you didn't respond, and so I was starting to get worried that you may be getting overwhelmed and drop off. And I don't want that to happen, okay? Because I want all of you to go all the way, not just get past, right? I want you to go all the way, because this is the way in which you can actually find that you can do a great deal of stuff, right? Without other people getting in your way. Yeah?
Sure. I will not drop because my camera is broken, so I didn't.
Don't worry about the camera. I just want, even Fernando, I told you, right? I don't care, right? I don't care, even Ali, right? So I don't care if your camera is switched off, as long as you guys speak up and so on, okay? And the other thing I noticed also, so anyway, sometimes when I speak, maybe I looked at the video and it looks like, I'm complaining all the time because, I kind of scrunch up my face like that, and it looks like I'm complaining, but I'm actually not complaining, okay? So even though I might look like that, but I did see in the forums that the only people, I may be wrong, okay? Only Kylie and I think maybe Zane. Where's Zane? Zane's not here. Hey, Van, your camera is like totally off, man. It's like pointing up into the ceiling.
No, sorry, I kind of got it stuck at this angle at the moment.
Yeah. Don't worry. I don't want the video to interfere with the Wi-Fi though. All right, okay. Wi-Fi is higher priority. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so Zane and Kylie were the only two people that I remember made any attempt to communicate in the forums. So I don't want you to feel that oh wow, you know what, I got to do 2A, I got a whole bunch of work, and oh, you know what, I got to attend the lectures and be participative there, and I also have to make these forum posts, let me go and do these things, and it becomes like a chore, right? That is not the kind of student teachers, professors relish. Okay, so you should basically start enjoying the subject, just like the person who's trying to teach you, because they actually have something valuable to teach you. So you might as well say, hey, why do they think it's valuable? Let me try and find out, right? Is it really valuable, or does the person think it's valuable? Okay, you know what? Because we run into people like that every day. Right? If peddlers on say, hey, buy this for $5 million or something like that, it's only worth 50,000 or whatever, So there are people who are trying to boost value. So you want to try and find out what the value is. So I could tell you that computer science is really valuable.
Yeah. But my English is not so good, so
sorry.
Sometimes I worried what I said will make others confused or
No,
so.
no,
I
no, don't
didn't.
worry. Okay, that's what I told you.
I
Yeah.
joined the class every time. Yeah.
No, yeah, thank you, Juan, for pointing that out, because I don't mind even if I mention this every single class. Okay, it's completely okay. It's completely okay in our forums to be wrong, to say, make incorrect hypotheses, because after all, what is science, right? So the distinguishing mark between science and nonsense, right? Not even non-science, right? Is really that one is testable and the other is not, right? And I don't know where I was going with that, but essentially, yes, it's actually practice to be a good scientist, essentially, really, right? Taking a stab at it and saying, I think this is what is going on, right? Maybe it's completely off the mark, right? Maybe you're saying, well, it's that's why it's going on, because it's because of something to do with specific heat, right? And maybe it's not even to do with specific heat. So it's yeah, and you may be completely incorrect to think like that, right? But that's perfectly fine, because that's what science does, right? It's because you're putting yourself out there and saying, this is what I think it is, and you can disprove me if you want, and I'm happy to accept the disproof. Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that is great, right? Because I think I greatly value that trait. I value the trait of anyone who's basically he is bold enough, courageous enough to say, well, this is what it is, and if you think it is wrong, just tell me why it is wrong. And those kinds of things give you a lot of extra credit. I think, yeah, those are the things that I think all professors are actually looking for, in students. It's not just people who are grinding for the grade, okay? That is a disappointing student who's basically saying, I'll do it because it's required for the grade. And there's bound to be a lot of students like that. But I'm saying that among the sea of such students, the ones that are really valuable to the teachers are the ones that are not doing it for the grade, who are doing it for the subject, right? Who are doing it to enrich themselves and the people around them. And so, yeah, we're all here to teach, right? And because I think this is cool. And after quest number 6, right, I think it'll start getting challenging, right? And what is it? This is only week 3, so I shouldn't be really giving you this spiel now, but but it's on video, so you can watch this in week 6. Because until week 6, you're basically, I can tell you, right, you're just fighting with the system, right? Just trying to get your way. Find your way around how to create files, how to store files, how to drag and drop, interpret the results, right? 6 quests, it'll take you up to 6 quests to get used to that. But once you're used to that, from the 6th quest, you'll start facing real computer science problems. And that is where most people will start dropping off. And I don't mind. It's here, right? So that should basically, I think I had a chance to talk about this with someone else yesterday. Is that actually what's the thing? Yeah. So I don't mind if you decide to drop off, right? I don't care, right? Because after quest 6, you say, well, you know what? I know what computer science is all about, right? Because if you drop off before quest 6, you have not even got a taste of what computer science is, right? So you get to quest 6, and then you completed quest 6. And then you've basically come to the top of one point from which you can see on the other side. So, this is what computer science is, okay? It involves these interesting things, these structures, and it'll take me a while to explore, but it looks like fun, okay? Now you can make a reasoned decision from that summit, right? Do you want to go on and learn more? Or, you want to explore some other areas, on the way here, you saw some roller coasters you want to ride before you get here. Who knows, right? So maybe you want to explore those things and then come here. All of that is possible, and I'm perfectly happy, right? So that's why I say you pass the course if you reach quest number 6. Because if you reach quest number 6 and you start asking questions about quest number 7, and you find it challenging and say, okay, I'm going to come back to this later, okay, you'll pass the course, right? But you should not use that pass to say, well, I've passed CS2A, now I can go on to do CS2B. Right? That just means that, okay, you can come back and finish off the rest of the knowledge that you're supposed to absorb in CS2A, and then you can do CS2B. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, thank you very much for bearing with me here, because every quarter I have a number of students, I think, in CS2B. In the past, but I think I've found reasons, and I'm going to, try and see that doesn't happen. Is that many students come to CS2B directly from outside, and it's not that that's not a problem, but many of them come with incorrect notions about themselves, and they believe that they already know all the material. And because a few people in their selected universe has told them so. And so they come with not with a desire to learn, but a desire to show what they already know, which does not measure up to what is required to be mastered in CS2B. But they never see what is required to be mastered to CS2B because they want us to know what, they, and so they end up frustrated and get a really rude wake-up call in the first quest, which requires you to know about pointers and looping and classes and many things in the very first quest of CS2B. And I came to know that this is actually not even being taught in many CS2A sections. It's part of the state requirement. Yes, if you look at the CID 112, I think that's what it is, the state descriptor for what is supposed to be taught in CS2A. We cover pointers, and classes and so on. That's, the core of CS, and it's there. It's not that instructors are slacking off, right? The thing is, it's there and it's in the syllabus and they have to teach it. But the problem is many of these students have just gotten passes from kind-hearted instructors, let's put it that way, right? For not knowing all that, but putting in a lot of work, right? And unfortunately, I don't know, the instructors can be good fathers and mothers, but they shouldn't be good fathers and mothers to students, okay? They should resist the urge to be fathers and mothers to students and say, I'm going to be instructors because, if I'm a father and mother to you, a guardian, then I have to look out for a whole lot of things. And that might interfere with your learning. And so I might say, well, you put in a lot of effort, you should get something out of it, right? But that's not what an instructor should say. I'll help you put in a lot of effort. Maybe I'll give you an extra pair of hands, but I can't just say you've mastered it, right? I can help you master it, but I can't say you mastered it. And that's the job of the instructor. And I think that is where the conflation is. Maybe that should come down to all of the instructors as some kind of a message saying that there should be this, standard in grading, which makes it harder for upstream courses. But that's why, for this quarter, I think that this thing will kind of play out better because, I can just set up my CS2A. All the students, push them all the way as much as possible to the 9th quest because that's essential if you want to master the subject, right? And I can have a bigger section of CS2A too, right? So push them all the way. And then in 2B, I know that these people, have done the 9th quest of, blue already. And this time I made it, like I said before, it's extra credit. But from next quarter onwards, there won't be any rude wake-up calls. They'll basically start at the tiger named Fangs, right? Even 2B or 2C, no matter what you do, you're going to start at the first blue quest, right? And you get, credit for it. But people who've already done it have, got credit for it. So I think that way it'll make things a whole lot easier. And for people to follow through, right? I think that is the message that is missing in our somehow in our curriculum. Maybe I'll talk to Evan and see if there's some way we can do this, is that, our ABC series are not like individual courses, even though the state has made it like that. I think the way that community colleges have implemented it, it does not seem to be like individual courses. You can't do my 2A and do someone else's 2B and then come back to my 2C, right? I don't think it works like that way, right? Or you can do Dave's 2A and then I don't think it works that way, right? And so you got to, it's one train, okay? You get on my 2A, you got to do my 2C. I think that works the best. So you get on Dave's 2A, you got to do Dave's 2C.
Is that like a learning type of?
I think so, yeah. I think somehow you guys will have to bring it up. I don't know. You guys will have to bring it up to our, Beta or, Ram to say, I think that would help because, I did this track with Dave or, who was the Mikkel, right? Mm-hmm. And that I found really useful. But then for Python, I switched, or for Java, I switched, and that wasn't so useful. So that's all useful information, right? We never get that information from students. So, but hopefully, we've got enough data now. We've got enough data. We should be able to put the system together that can track this kind of thing. right? The success rate of students going in the same, sequence versus the ones that are jumping, right? So all of that should, come out of the data now. So we should be able to find out. We'll see how it goes.
Question though, you mentioned Python. I remember when that first came out, like I think 2011. I didn't really.
Oh, in 2011?
Yeah, it came out around like 2011 or 2010, I think.
Did I
started
forget?
doing like
Yeah.
it was pretty fun. It was like a coding boot camp with it, but I never really figured out what it was like really meant for. And now it's kind of like a big thing from what I hear.
It's just an interpreted language. Do you know any interpreted language like Perl or PHP? Have you done PHP? Actually, JavaScript itself is an interpreted language. We shouldn't use JavaScript, right? Because JavaScript primarily, even though we have server-side JavaScript, primarily is people think of it as client side on the browser. So let's not. Are you familiar with PHP, Perl?
Perl sounds familiar, but I don't know where that was from.
Yeah.
Done some PHP
even
before.
basic. So these are interpreted languages. It's different from compiled languages like C++. Even Java is midway between compiled languages and interpreted languages, right? Because it's a half-as interpretation, right? So in interpreted languages, what they do is, I'll interpret everything you say sentence by sentence or line by line, right? Translated or compiled languages say, give me your whole message. I'll translate it into Chinese, right? And that's the whole message here. Okay, that is C++.
Sure.
Right? And so obviously this is faster, isn't it? The entire translation, and then you just give it there and it's like hugely faster. Because from that point onwards, there needs to be no communication back and forth with the translator.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's entirely in Mandarin. And and that is the trick that we're trying to do with, but the problem with that is that once it becomes entirely coded in Mandarin, the person that originally wrote the logic, right, has a hell of a time modifying it, because then he has to go to the translator and say, get the original message and change it and tell that person that it's changed. Okay, huge mess there. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's some people want some intermediate stages. And they said, okay, well, we'll create happen in day one, right? So we'll create another family of mediaries called an interpreter, which will do it line by line. So which essentially, when you go to a DOS prompt or a Unix prompt, right, we're basically talking to an interpreter, to something that doesn't understand your language, right? This guy understands. So Perl, PHP. So Python was one of those guys. So Perl was there before. But and Perl, I used to write Perl, it has its pros and cons, mostly cons, I think, right? There's so many different ways of doing everything, and people basically mess it up. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so and this is and it actually kind of gels into my overarching philosophy in life too, right? Freedom without direction is no freedom at all, right? If you have total freedom, it is the same as being totally a prisoner. Because you have no idea what to do and right? So you need to have some idea after you have freedom to know what you need to do, right? And then you can say, okay, now I have the freedom and I know what to do, right? Then I can go in that direction, right? If I have the freedom, I don't know what to do, then it's the same as not having freedom at all. And I think Perl went that way and basically said, well, just give you the freedom to do whatever the hell you want. It became like MySpace, essentially, right? People started doing garbage in it. And because you can do an awful lot of things, crazy things, and big level stuff too, in interpret language, right? So you can operate individual bits in a high level language like Perl, right? Which is so all that freedom, and so I think as the person behind Perl, I cannot see a motive now or a place where it should end up. Should it end up in the place of people who actually know what they're doing because they can deal with individual bits? Right? In that case, an interpreter is even a poor choice for them because they can do what they want in some other thing that is better than interpreters, right? Or should I target it to someone who cannot deal with these bits and deal with interpreted languages, which means I need to make it completely simple and dumb it down, right? So that they can understand it, like JavaScript. Even JavaScript is right. So dumb it down, like Python, right? Gotcha. And provide a really strong interpreting engine here that can say, anything you say, I can translate it into the most efficient CPU side thing here, because I've been, in vogue for what, like 10 years now, right? And people have done lots of crazy ass things to me to, streamline my operations. So I have incredible libraries written in, super hardcore C++ that, if you have some numerical stuff, I can just do this complex matrix operation and give you this number instantly using this, C++ library, which is, hidden behind a magic Python word, right? You just call one Python word and you'll call them, C++ library. So all of that became, because people were excited. And it's not that Python was invented, really. Python was, I think, it was a natural outgrowth of the frustrations we've had with, PHP and Perl, and say, and all these consortiums we go to, and people complain, right? And say, I'm doing this, but horrible, and the language doesn't let me do that. And someone says, you could try this, you can try this in Go, maybe you can more, and do this, and say, well, I tried that, but this is really cool, but unfortunately that doesn't work now because I tried to do something else. And so all these compromises have to be made. That's why we have these consortiums. And these consortiums tend to get boring because most of the time it ends up being compromises. Right. So I think Python, this guy, whoever created Python, right? He said, it's compromises that don't make a language go anywhere, right? What the language needs is some kind of a divinely wise king, right? A benevolent, what did he call it? Benevolent dictator. So yeah, he called it a benevolent dictator. Yeah, so he said, I think what a language, what anything, it's not a consortium. Consortiums don't get shit done, right? So it needs a benevolent dictator, a dictator who calls the shots and who's also intelligent and also benevolent, meaning he knows what the right thing to do is, not just doing it out of politics or please his girlfriend or things like that. So he's just going to do things that are right. And so that is called a benevolent.
Do you think Python's lacking then, the benevolent dictator?
Sorry?
Oh, for Python, by your definition of benevolent dictator, do you think Python would be lacking on one, or is that?
I don't know. This guy, I think he's what was it? Franz Guido. Alex. Guido. I think his name was Guido. And I think Google. He went to Google, and then he went to, and maybe he went to this thing that D3 guy. Who created D3? The person who created the D3 data visualization library in JavaScript. Really cool library. I use that. I use the D3 library in my visualizations, right? What's his name? He did he was a graphics grad student at Stanford here when he created D3, right? And then made it popular. And he did that for his thesis, actually. What's his name? Gee, I have email and I forgot his name now. It'll come to me at some point. But anyway, what did I say? Yeah, so that's they're done in JavaScript. Yeah, benevolent dictator is basically I think that's what it is. You say, I can't get this done in a consortium because it's always ending in a compromise, and this is good at A and not good at B, and this is good at B and not good at A, and it's better to have two different products doing good things in their own spheres of activity. Right?
The most efficient way for their own thing. That makes sense. What's
I think Guido, Franz Guido, I think. Yeah, I think.
I mean, name rings a bell.
He is the guy who said, "I'm just going to be the benevolent dictator of Python." In fact, I think you can say, "Hey, Google, who's the benevolent dictator of Python?" Hey, Google, who's the benevolent dictator of Python?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that.
Alexa, who's the benevolent dictator?
Here's something I found on the web. According to webculture.com, Bison or Vega in Japan. Just call him
Alexa, stop. Yeah, all right. So they didn't know, but I'm pretty sure you can find out, right? I'm pretty sure you can find out the word. I think the word benevolent dictator probably means something like that, right? And that is, I think that's the way to make progress. The progress, because with this thing, you only get one place. That is, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows, right?
Professor?
Yeah.
Sorry, whenever you said that, my Google actually answered for us. So I kind of stopped it, but thank you.
That's so crazy, isn't it? Because, I think we had a student called Alexa before in class. And anytime I said Alexa, that, my Alexa would pick up. And this is the first time I've had, saying something that picked up on a student's Google. So that is really cool. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I always had to turn my Alexa off before class started.
I'm sorry, you had to turn something off?
Oh yeah, I have an Alexa like 2 inches away from the camera.
Oh, I
always
see. You have to
turn
turn it. You had to turn it off.
Yeah, or like a whole
Yeah.
porch goes up.
Yeah, cool. Hey, Keenan, welcome. All right, so I think we were actually talking about this code and we had to pull it up. So we make some changes today. Is that okay?
So,
Oh, he's nodding. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be Keenan. Yeah, well, Brittany has her hand up. Brittany, you just feel free to, just speak, okay? Like you do.
yeah, I have a quick question. I'm sorry. I have gotten a brand new laptop and I need some advice on what type of IDE to get for the coding. Basically the coding language.
IDE,
website, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Don't call it IDE, okay? Don't call it IDE. Because IDE is actually an English word, isn't it? Right, like the Ides of March.
Yeah.
And it's actually, maybe it's even a negative word, right? Yeah, Ide probably means a bad omen, right? I think so, right? Yeah, I think so. Google, define Ide. Hey, Google, define Ide. Oh, I shouldn't say Google.
Hi, you found a new bedtime routine.
Hey, Google, stop.
First.
Hey, Google, stop. Alexa, define Ide.
No new alarm was set. Next, I'll place a.
Hey, Google, stop.
Object representing a deity to which religious worship is addressed.
There.
Ask me to give you more definitions for either.
I don't know. Maybe that was a definition, but I think IDE is actually a bad omen, right? Because the Ides of March, I believe, goes back to Julius Caesar and Shakespeare, because I think March 15, when it's called the Ides of March, when Julius Caesar received an omen saying that he was going to die, and then he was murdered at the meeting that day by Brutus and the council. I think so, right? So yeah, so it's not it's not IDE, right? It's IDE. So it's IDE. Yeah, you should always say IDE, and it's integrated development environment. I think that's why it's IDE. So it's very hard to say integrated development environment, right? So many syllables there. IDE, it's just so hard to say. Yeah, like you say, it should be a one word, but it shouldn't be IDE, right? It should be something.
Yeah, the IDE. I'm just trying to find a new website, basically, because
don't worry. Hey, Brittany, this is a great question. This is a great question to ask in the forum. Okay, not only will it get you participation points, it's also going to be useful to other students, right? Because many students are in the same boat. Many students have just got a laptop, right? Other than Kylie, who I know, she's been logged into that laptop there, right? Yeah. So you have to make sure that this is the time to ask questions like that. That will benefit many students.
Brittany, were you saying that coding rooms wasn't working for you?
Visual actually isn't working for me.
Oh, Visual Studio?
Yeah, so every time I download it, basically the programming, it won't let me run it or debug it. It basically tells me to do something else to download. So I'm trying to see if you guys have any websites that I could go to, news where I could.
I had that too, actually. I was going through the same problem. So what I did is I just Googled online C++ debugger. And then it was the one that we used. I don't know if we used it in class. I think we used it in class like the first week or something. And then I just copied my code from that and then put it in that. And then that way I could run it and debug it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the mystery quest, huh?
Yeah, just Google C++ debugger. And then the first one that comes up should work.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I would love to, if you guys had the exact same discussions in the forum, right? You're always going to watch these videos, I mean, you look at the YouTube view count, it's like 1 or 2 for most of these videos. Even our students don't watch them. That's it, right? Nobody, for some future student, who knows? This is totally useless if it's in the video, right? So just say this in the forum. So many students have exactly the same problem. Not just 2A, right? Because I know even 2B and 2C, they have to do the blue quests. And many of them don't know how to use an IDE, right? Because they know the theoretical knowledge maybe, but they don't know the practical aspects of it. So please do ask, right? It's bound to be really, really useful. And people are just helping each other out secretly, and in Discord and Slack, and even lectures is just going to evaporate. Just do it in the forums. It doesn't even have to be here, right? Let it be on Stack Overflow or even somewhere else public, and just point us point the rest of the students at it, that will be more helpful, right? Because like you said, Brittany won't have this issue at all. If someone had made a post like now, right, like I'm talking about, Brittany wouldn't be, have this question, right? Because you should look around and say, hey, that student like in winter 21 had the same problem, right? Let's see what he or she did, that kind of thing. So yeah, please do, right? And then they'll come back and thank you, right? So you don't know, right? Sometimes
Question. Would you like us to then create maybe like a little discussion thread about like our preferred coding?
Absolutely. I love that. I would love that, right? So those are the kinds of things that you will get points for, right? You get points for. That's what I mean, right? You're throwing away these points. Easy to get points. 1 point. So Kylie and Noah, not Noah, right? Kylie and Zane are the only 2 people that I remember, right? From last week or this week, right? This week winding up already. So yeah, just go ahead and say something, right? And you don't have to feel worried about saying wrong things, because you can see the feed is moving so fast, right? Anything you say is just getting buried very quickly, right? And if it's really good, it automatically bubbles to the top anyway. So why worry about things? Just go ahead and do whatever you want, right? And I'll delete these things that are damaging to you, unless it's anonymous. If it's anonymous, I lower priority for deletion, right? Because I don't care, because even if I don't delete it, it's not going to bite you. But if it's if you say something non-anonymously, then and it's bad for you, I'll try and delete it if I see it.
Okay.
All right.
Is there more
look at this time.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You had a question.
Oh, it was just a quick question. Is there more people in the subreddit or just the Reddit for CS2A?
No, it's anyway. That's what I mean, right?
It's not just a class thing. It's
no. It's the whole world.
Gotcha.
A lot of people. I think the issue is a lot of people are questioning also, right? A lot of people are questioning, but very, very small fraction use a subreddit. I don't know why.
Okay.
Right. And in fact, even the ones who use a subreddit are the ones in CS2A, B, and C, right? A few times, some of the outsiders also post in our subreddit, right? But most of the time, it's just our students. And I think I have a feeling why, because they are doing it for, credit, and they get points out of it. Or they're even not even requiring to post, because they're looking at all the past posts and finding the answers, which is not a way to learn, right? So you should basically assume the subreddit doesn't exist and use it as a forum for getting in touch with the other students, right? The subreddit is not there for the purpose of finding answers, okay? The subreddit is there for the purpose of reaching out to your fellow students, right? Don't look for answers in the subreddit. Is that a good way to do this? Yeah, okay. All right. Let's make this a rule. Maybe I'll work this into the syllabus, okay? I'll work this into the syllabus in future also. I think people should not use a subreddit to look up solutions, right? And in fact, they should not use the internet, go on Stack Overflow or Google or YouTube even, right? You can go on YouTube and all these other places and look up concepts, okay? Look at videos, right? Khan Academy stuff, and so that kind of stuff, totally okay, right? But you can't say, I went to Google, YouTube and looked at a solution that was, that told you a line-by-line implementation of Quicksort. And then did exactly that, but on line 15, say I equals 0 instead of I equals 1, and everything will work, right? That is like a totally useless thing, right? And if I come across a post like that, I would probably delete it even, right? So yeah, so even if you go outside for concepts, right? Not for specific solutions, right? Even though there are solutions to similar problems on leak code or something like that, right? You shouldn't say, well, the solution to this is over there, right? This is exactly the same as, depth first search, right? And if you want to code for DFS, just go here, right? Yeah, okay. Well, there's a trillion places on the internet where you can find the code, right? So I don't know, how can I give you points for that? Yes. So you gotta say, don't use the Reddit for any, don't use it for looking up, right? I think I'll make that clear. But I think that was my mistake, because even in the syllabus, I was kind of encouraging, you look at the Reddit and things like that. I think I'll stop doing that. Okay. Yeah, I think it was my mistake. I'll say just use the subreddit to get in touch with other students in your class and other students around the world, right? Anyone who's questioning, get in touch with fellow questers. Okay. Don't or even discuss concepts with the Foothill tab, right? Or building blocks and all these things. But you shouldn't use that to look up because I think that's what's going on. The very first time the students learned a lot, with the questioning, because they were trying these things themselves. But after that, I felt that, are the students actually learning, right? So they're going through the quests, but are they actually learning? And that gets less fuzzier and fuzzier. because I don't know if they're trying things. They're just looking at the solution and doing it, right? Then I have to keep changing the quest. And then if I change the quest, then, the students will they get, I don't know. So, but I have a bunch of quests, right? I mean, I can just switch them around. So it's not just the ones that I have, right? Like I could, so well, not 2A, maybe not so much, right? But I can do these things. But I think the real issue really is, and then I realize it's futile, right? It's futile because ultimately there is no way I can prevent someone who's determined not to learn, from not learning, right? There's always an easy way. There's always a way to get around everything, so I can't police that. And so the only thing I can do is just say, this is what I know, and I can teach it to you. And if you want to know, just learn it, right? If you don't want to know, don't learn it. That's it's totally up to you. And I think you want to know because what I know has really it's worth it for me, so it'll be worth it for you too, right? And if you suspect that is true, you would also learn it, right? I think that's the only thing that any teacher can say, really, right? I can't force you to do anything.
I know you said there wasn't any particular location to learn C++, but I don't know, just wanted to—
Yeah, just your laptop, just your laptop and your sofa.
Right? Yeah, but then it's just the next question is like websites, or would it be direct?
Yes, I honestly, until you complete, here you go, right? Until you complete Blue 6, don't look up anything. Yeah, until you complete Blue 6, don't look up any website. Okay, just look at Michael Loseth. Any website, just turn off the internet. No internet in your home, right? You only have a static copy of Michael Loseth notes, and maybe you have a copy of that Savage textbook. Yeah, maybe that you don't need, right? You only need Loseth notes. In fact, you don't even need Loseth notes. You only need the specs. Okay, technically. So you do need the internet to get to the the questions.
A little bit there and there. Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So get to the quest, right? Get up to quest number 6. All right, and use the Loseth notes where you're confused about the specs.
Okay,
right? But don't go beyond Loseth notes, right? Because if you go beyond Loseth notes
too, would you recommend like diving into the textbook that you linked in the CS2A?
Yeah. Just use the text, and also if the text is also unclear, after that you can look up YouTube and the internet for very targeted videos around the concept, right? And the danger really for all CS students really is that any problem you want, right? Math students or CS students, any problem, the solutions out there. Right? If you look, you're going to find it. So the challenge with students is not finding knowledge. The challenge with students today is how can I steer away from existing knowledge so I can find it myself? Because the knowledge is around you all over the place. So you just have to be really, really careful not to be indoctrinated with existing knowledge so that you don't discover it yourself.
It's more important to get what's the word? The concepts.
Just find it yourself. Just lock yourself in a room, just have the internet, read the spec, read Michael Loseth notes, right? He's done such a fantastic job, and people always underestimate it, right? And people think, he wrote it in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a couple of years even. No, this is a result of several, almost a decade, more than a decade of work, right? I can see, right? Every single thing he's done has been distilled from so many years. Interacting with students, I know exactly the challenges you're facing. Right. And I look at his notes and I say, well, he's actually had students just like me. Like, 15 years ago, he had a student just like him. Right. So I can see, right. I can see someone, like Van or like Brittany in Michael Loseth from 15 years ago. So, and that's the reason why I think that it's actually very suited for our college and our mode of teaching. Right. Maybe not so suited for Dean's or some other college out there. But I think somehow for the way that things are unfolding and the way the students are coming here, prerequisites or the culture here, the notes suit you perfectly, right? So don't underestimate that, like many people do, right? Many people say that to me too, right? So I think this is one of the most valuable contributions to mankind in the form of, CS knowledge. Just make use of it. It's cheap and free. Even the Savage text is free, technically. Think about it, right? Someone posted a link to it, it's free. Yeah, but it's huge, right? So what Michael did was is basically go through the Savage book and pick out the things that you need, right? And so that you don't need to read the entire book, just read what Michael's got, and then you can open any page in the Savage book, and you know what Savage is talking about, right? So that's Michael's done the hard work for you, right? So lots of people do it the wrong way. I think they say, well, I want the answer to that. So let me go to the place which has a lot of answers. I'm about to come back with something, right? And the risk and the danger is that once they go into the place with lots of answers, they're bound to never come back. Because they're going to be evaluating one answer against another, trying to find what is the best answer. They're never ever going to come back here. Right? Whereas someone who says, okay, let me understand the problem, find out if I have the answer before I go and look for the answer. Okay, that person is more likely to come back with the answer. That's what I find anyway, right? So
Makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I think so. Anyway, we're wasting too much time, talking about all this stuff. And it's 9 o'clock already. I really, someone should pick up the code. We have 1 hour, right? We have approximately 1 hour before at least Kylie has to go, right? Because she has a class at 10. I'm sure many of you have a class at 10, right? Not just one student. So hands up if you have a class at 10. Only Kylie is it? Kylie's the only one who has a class at 10. Nobody else has a class at 10.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so interesting. Wow. So nobody is enrolled in math. Nobody is majoring in math.
Not
Who's
majoring, but, well, not majoring, but I mean, there's some math classes, but.
Oh, I see. But I thought math classes were usually around 10 o'clock on Thursday and Tuesday. No?
We get now like a 6 p.m.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Anyway, I don't know. Okay. They change these schedules all the time. Only some classes follow a predictable pattern. Right. So 2A, 2B, 2B, I try to follow a pattern as much as possible, unless I have to step in for someone else. But usually it's
winter quarter usually likes to change stuff up for some reason. It's just winter quarter everywhere.
Winter quarter changes everywhere?
Well, sometimes like the morning classes are now evening classes are new classes, and the new classes are now morning classes type of thing. There's just like some like shift down for winter quarter as opposed to like fall or spring. I don't know why that's a thing, but it just kind of happens that way.
I don't know.
Just a random.
Anyway, never mind. Yeah. Hey, why doesn't someone pick up the screen? Why doesn't someone pick up the screen and share Keenan's code from last class? Hopefully, Keenan also make everybody editors. This time, what we want to do is to start with the brand new, right? In fact, we're not going to the same program, right? We're going to start a brand new program, brand new blank slate, Keenan's site. But the reason I said Keenan was because he was the one who actually quickly added all of you guys and gave you all right permission. Yes. So I want someone to pick up the screen, right? Get to the site. Coding Room is really cool, right? I think Keenan just pasted a link and open up an anonymous Chrome window and Chrome or Safari, whatever, right? Browser window and what is it? Or add all of the other students, right? Let's forget about this code, right? Kill all of it. Kill all of it. And kill all of it. X on playground. In fact, even clear or delete all the files. We don't even need the files anymore. We'll just build everything up from scratch, okay? And also right click on the files and delete them. All of the files, right? All the way. In fact,
you want me to delete all of the
all
files?
All the files, and let's create a brand new file.
Like everywhere?
All of the files. Delete all of them.
Got you.
We'll start with that. We basically have to get comfortable. We have to get comfortable with tossing everything away and starting afresh.
I'm not even sure how to do that here, to be honest.
Yeah, just delete it. Just delete it. You can right click.
I
am right clicking. Nothing's happening.
Oh, one of the files went away.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's open. You got to close the files first.
For you. Got this one. There we go. Okay.
You can delete that one too. Oh, you got to have at least one.
Yep.
Okay, who's editing? Who's editing right now?
2022.
Who's editing?
Oh, that's me.
The thing isn't shifting. The red button, the outline isn't shifting. Who's editing?
That was me.
Keenan. Okay, all right. Now I see the highlight. Okay. Hey, Keenan, call this Keenan.cpp. Maybe call Keenan 2022.cpp or whatever it is. Keenan dash whatever that date is, that CPP. So give it your name right at the beginning of the file name, the name of the file, rename the file to Keenan. So this is going to be Keenan's file. Everyone who's added to this window as an editor, create your own file just like this. Okay. Hey Keenan, can you rename the file? Well, there was a lag, it just happened like this for me now, but there was a huge lag. Did you just do it like now, or was it you were doing all...
It was, somebody made a copy.
Yeah, someone made a copy.
Yeah,
they're going to rename it. They're going to rename it.
Enter in the winter.
Whoever made a copy, rename it, please, so we can continue. Yeah, Justin 2022. Yeah, cool. All right. In fact, we'll do the same thing for every quarter, every lecture. I think we'll try this. So if you want, even put the date, so that you can have multiple of these, multiple files like this, eventually. All right. So yeah, Sean, each one create your own. So all right, Keenan. So let's go to your file, create the basic template. Hash include IOStream and include using namespace. Everybody, all right. Everybody create your own. I want to see lots and lots of CPP files here.
I don't have write permission for some reason.
Everybody should have write permission, right? Hey, can you give everybody write permission? Is there a problem with people jumping around here with their mouse and then you are editing here? Is there some interference there with you?
For me?
Yeah.
What were you asking?
If people are jumping around and clicking on files and you're editing in this window here, is your editing affected by what they're doing? If they switch files all of a sudden, do you lose what you're typing? That's what I mean.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. So they can continue to work on their files and this is a view you see, right?
It shouldn't interfere because it's like a different tab when you open.
Nice. That's really nice. Okay, that's very cool. So
Yeah,
each tab we
somebody
can
stole
run
my
on our own.
They wrote their name over mine.
Where? No. Hey, nobody.
The original Keenan is gone.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry. I think I might have renamed the wrong one. Do you want to
So
switch?
these are, growing pains. Okay, we just need to get used to it. Because once we get used to this, it'll be very easy downstream, right? For future lectures, it'll be easy once we establish a way to work together.
I've got a folder tab, but the other ones have.
Let me get my other glasses too, so I can reduce the font size a bit more. Wait a second. Okay, you carry on. Okay, so. Yeah, I can get more. Yeah. No, I think I can get all of you anyway. So that's fine. Great. All right. So yeah. So just start off with a hello world. Run Keenan.cpp alone. Right? Who's editing? Noah? Is this Noah?
Yeah.
Where's Keenan? Where's Keenan? By the way. Okay. So Noah. All right. Let's go back to Noah editing. Is Noah editing right now?
I don't know. I'm just sharing my screen.
No. You should be whoever is editing this file. Who has control of this file? Who
Everybody.
has control? You. So are you editing Noah? Can you edit
Yes.
this file? Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. And anonymous turtle, you shouldn't be in this file, right? Anonymous turtle should be in your own file.
I am anonymous turtle.
Because I saw a cursor. I saw the cursor. The pink thing with anonymous turtle there. Okay.
I think this is me.
Man, just say hello world. Make sure it works. Okay. Hello world, and then run Noah. Just say print. See out hello world. Just run Noah. Endl, put an endl because you want the new line. Just get into the habit of putting an endl. Otherwise, sometimes you don't even see the output, right? If you don't have an endl, sometimes it doesn't flush. Some systems, most modern systems do. Just run it.
I think I need to find my.
There you go. I see it. Yes. Right? Why is it not running? I'll show you an easy way to run it. Okay. I'll show you. So just go to the place where you see the arrow in the black part. Click there. No, further down. Use a console. Go to the console. Just go to the console. Click there. Right. ls-l right there. ls-l. ls.
Yeah, it's not letting me. All right, there you go.
Why is it not? Is the site struggling with so many people logged in?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
It might be.
I think there's probably only one, like it's sharing one shell. So if a lot of people are running it, it's probably just getting messed with.
Yeah, like when he tries to run it, I can see it on mine too, even though we have different codes.
Okay,
yeah, so we just share one big shell,
everybody
so.
hands off until except Noah. How about
Yeah.
that? Okay, so there's no traffic from anywhere else. And then only Noah's typing. Do an ls-l, and then everyone can do the same thing. Okay, ls. All right, now do an ls space dash l right there. Ls. You didn't have a new line there. Why didn't it have a new line there? By the way, run it again. Why didn't it print a new line? Just run it. Run your file and Noah. Why is it not printing a new line? Print 2 new lines instead of 1. /n/n. Yeah, run it again. Wow. But
Should
it's
you put
not
a
running
space?
1.
What if you put a space between the last word?
Yeah, good experiment. Yeah, good experiment,
Yeah.
man.
That
it's
is
working now for some
now it
reason.
just works now.
No, I don't see it. No, now it prints it. That's maybe some caching issue.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, so now establish it. Now do an ls-l right there. ls space dash l. This is a little bit of Unix, okay? Maybe you're doing a Unix course, you learn up a little bit of Unix and Linux along the way. All right, now increase the size of the console. Drag that horizontal bar up. Okay, now you see all the files here, right? All the files that everybody's created, you see them there? Do you see them? Okay, now I'm going to show you how to compile and run Noah's code, okay? The program that Coding Rooms is running in the background, which you don't see. You only see the UI, but what it's running in the background in some Docker container, right? It's running that program. It is GCC or G++. So hit G++ and hit enter, I want to see if it's there. Okay, good. So it's there, meaning the program fired up, it says there's nothing I have to do. You see that? All right, now we're going to give it something to do. Right, G++ is a C++ compiler. It's a free C++ compiler. It's the same as, I think it's MinGW on Sean mentioned that in a previous class. Yeah?
Oh, for VS Code, yes.
VS Code, it's the same. It's the same code that's being ported in many different architectures, okay? So, all right, we're going to say G++. Let's just remember this, okay? It's very idiomatic jargon, but just remember this one line. Try it out many times. Just not remembering never works, okay? Try it out many times and it'll stick with you. And it's basic, right? That's what's going on in Xcode, VS Code, everywhere. That's what's going on in the background, okay? So we're going to say G++. The output that you want to produce is a -o is -o. So say dash and then O. -o is a signal to G++ saying the following word is the name of the file in which you've got to put the translated Mandarin version, right? The CPU version, right? I'm going to give you a C++ version here, translate that into a CPU version and put the translated version in this output file. So that -o is going to name the output file. Is everybody okay with this or not? Yes or no?
Sorry, could you explain again what /o was?
Okay, G++ is a command. Okay, G++ is basically, I can say this any number of times. It's important, right? It's going to be useful too, right? So I don't mind. So you just keep asking until you get it straight. G++ is just another program like any other program. There's hundreds and hundreds of programs, right? In fact, go to the beginning of the line, say echo hello, right? Say echo space hello world, echo space hello world. Just get rid of everything and say echo space hello world. It's going to say echo. It's going to echo those hello world words, right? It's going to say whatever you say, it's going to echo back to you. That's one of the programs, right? Yeah, so like, but you want to know what is echo? What is echo, right? So there is a program called Echo written by someone. In fact, if you do ls space -l, ls space -l, ls is basically not ls space -l space, right? ls is another program. It's just another program. Which is going to list the contents of a file of the contents of a directory or the name of a file. So ls space /bin/bin/bin /bin/ right? It's a little bit more patience, okay? Echo ECHO, right? So all right, so that is did you hit a lot of enters there?
Yeah, that was an accident.
All right, cool. No worries. Okay, so that is a program written by someone else, just like you. Right? And that program was written in C++, translated into machine code, and stored in a file called echo in the directory called /bin. That's what it means. Okay? Someone like you can write a program. I can show you how to write an echo program in 10 minutes. At the end of class, if you hang around, it'll only take 10 minutes to write an echo program. Right? It's just a C++ program. It was written, compiled, and stored in an executable way, place somewhere, because lots of people use that program. That place is called bin. Okay, /bin. In fact, if you do ls space -l, ls space -l space /bin/, right? /bin/, right? Hit enter. All right, those are all of the programs that other people have written and made freely available to you, right? Whenever you log into Unix or Linux, all of these programs are available free to you. And it's not like you may think, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff there, but you'll actually be salivating, right? Each one of those programs is very interesting and useful, right? In fact, if you learn Linux and Unix at all, you'll be using every single one of those, right? Because, like in C++, you're using plus, minus, operators, and so on. Each one of those programs is actually something that does use something useful in Unix. So essentially, each one is a tool. So if you're a Unix or a Linux expert, you basically know how to use every one of those tools. And all of those tools are put in a bin, and that place is called /bin, which actually coincidentally is also /binary. Yes? So, and there are binaries because they are binary codes intended for the CPU to interpret. I don't know, does it all make sense to you? This is useful information? Okay, but you should also feel free to just cut me off and tell me this is not useful. Let's just move on. Okay, so now let's go back to that program we had before, right? So we say G++. Again, G++ is one of those programs. Okay, G++, not here, maybe it lives somewhere else. Okay, -O, and you're going to say Noah because you're going to produce a file called Noah in which you're going to put the translated output of the program, right? No, just say Noah. Just say Noah in lowercase, right? In fact, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it Noah XYZ. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want, really, right? No, you're hitting enter too soon, Noah. All right. So up arrow, you don't have to type the whole thing. Up arrow, down arrow will take you to what you typed before, right? Right? Space. Right. Now you told G++ where to put the translated output, but you also need to tell it what to translate. Right? What does it need to translate? It needs to translate your program, which is NOAH, right? I think it's NOAH. I think type in capital N. No. You need that there. No. You leave that behind. Right. Go to the end and type. Yeah. Now just hit the tab key. Just hit the tab key. All right. So the tab in Linux and Unix, most of the shells will automatically complete a file name that it can find in the directory that matches what you type. Right. So N capital starting with capital N. That's the only file in the directory. So when you hit tab, it automatically brought it up. So lots of people waste time typing out the entire name. You get in the habit of just typing the first letter and hitting tab, right? So that's actually a reflex that many Linux, Unix people have is hitting tab all the time, right? So the pinky is like super active, just auto-completing all the time.
So what's the purpose for hitting Noah the first time?
Which one? The lowercase Noah?
Lowercase Noah, yeah.
All right. So the lowercase Noah is what is called an argument or a parameter to the -O signal, right? So G++ is a command. -O is a signal to the command saying, well, you know what? I don't want your default behavior. I want you to do some translation and put the output in a file that will follow the -O. So -O is that signal.
Gotcha. Okay.
So whenever you say -O, the next word means that's the output.
Gotcha. So then would you be putting capital Noah /_120 into like a simpler call phrase of just lowercase Noah? Is that like assigning it to that word?
No, it's doing a lot of things. What that's going to do, G++ is a complex program. It's going to take that file, Noah. In fact, what you should do, Noah, this is a little bit more Unix Linuxy thing, and it'll be useful. Just hit Control A, right? Control A. Just hit. All right. Now that brought the cursor all the way back to the beginning of the line. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do one more trick here. One more trick, totally not related to CS2A, but it's going to be useful. Okay, if you're playing around with C++ and Unix, hit Control K. Control K. All right. Now you see that it's gone, but it's not gone for good. It's gone and stored in some kind of it's called a kill buffer. Okay, you can yank it. You can yank it back anytime. It's like a clipboard, but you only get one clipboard in Unix and Linux. Okay, like this. So if you say Control Y, it'll come back. Control Y. You get it back. You say Control Y many times. Yeah, so you can get it any number of times, right? Hit a bunch of keys and you can get it back. It's just there in a clipboard, and Control Y brings it back from your clipboard. Okay. Now, anytime you want to, no, type in a lot of junk there, right? Type in a whole lot of junk. Right. Now, let's say you want to just clear the line. Just hit Control G. It'll just clear the line. Right? Control G is the same as clear a line. Control G
doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Hit Control C, get to the next line. You want to get the arrow. Okay, you get the arrow. All right. Now you say G++ -O Noah and then autocomplete with that. Control Y. You got it. Control Y. Yeah, there you go. You got it, right? Is everybody understand what's going on here? So we're telling G++, which is a complex command, here is a CPP file that Noah, oh yeah, that's where we were going, right? Just Control G and get out of it. Control G, or get out of it, Control C or whatever it is. Get back to the thing, right? Let's see what's inside of that Noah.cpp file, right? So I say cat C-A-T space capital N and tab the whole file, right? Now enter. Is this what Noah typed in that file? Okay, so it's basically stored in a file, and that file is what is called Noah van. Are you good, right? So when you say Noah underscore that number date and .cpp, a CPP file is a text file that contains this thing that and cat basically says take that file and concatenate the contents onto the terminal, right? Basically saying it's type it out. So that is what that file contains. Is everybody okay with this? Yeah, it's a subtle concept, but it's important. This is the contents of the file, and we can see it because we're humans, and that's English, right? It's an ASCII file. We can read it because it's an English file, and it's CPP, right? The C++, it's human readable. Very soon, after you send it to the translator, G++ is our translator. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. After you send this English readable file, human readable file to the translator, when it comes out, it's not going to be in a format we can recognize. Yes. I can show you what's going to I can show you what comes out of the computer thing too, right? So hit enter now. Hit enter. All right. No, don't do anything, right? Now you will see at this point, if you do an ls space -l, and then hit enter, you'll see two files, right? You'll see you see a file called Noah, which is in green, right? That has been created for us by the G++ compiler, right? The G++ compiler took Noah's source file, which was that big ass file, Noah underscore date.cpp, yeah? Translated that, generated a bunch of CPU instructions, ones and zeros, okay, and says, okay, this is what Noah said, but unfortunately, you puny humans cannot understand that anymore. You need a CPU to understand that, yes?
Gotcha.
Okay, so it takes that and says, okay, well, I've translated that. Do you want me to throw it away and translate it again next time like Python does? Or do you want to basically store it so that you can just take the translation anytime you want? Yes, that's the difference between compilation and kind of interpretation. Okay, G++ is a compiler. Says, after you've done the translation, don't throw it away because I'm not, compilation is an expensive thing. C++ does a whole lot of really complex optimizations to your code before it translates into machine code. So it's not, it may not be a good idea to interpret C++, right? So you need to compile it. You need to compile whole chunks of it because, when you compress files, the more you compress, the better the compression you can get, right? Because you can look for longer term patterns. Yes or no?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, just like that.
So Noah, if I were to just type in Noah now, it would.
Yes, totally. Just type
Okay,
/
gotcha.
Noah. I think you have to say / Noah. Yeah, and it'll run. Is everybody okay with this? Now, this is like a huge step. It is like the first step on the moon. Really, think about it, right? Today in a class, even though we didn't do while loops and all these other things, we'll get a chance to do those things, right? But this is like a huge step for many students. Because after this, you can just go by leaps and bounds, right? Loops and if statements, we'll be using them many times. From next week onwards, we'll be using them a lot of times. So you have a lot of opportunity to learn a lot of ins and outs of these structures and controls and mechanics. But getting things done and knowing what actually happens and what VS Code or Xcode or all of these guys, do in the background is actually super duper important. Because then now you know, right? Whenever you run into a program, a problem with your program, right? Well, VS Code has generated these errors, but these errors didn't come from VS Code or didn't come from Xcode. They actually came from G++ that VS Code has managed to come show through to us. Yes? Now you can actually look at the source of these errors and find out why G++. So you get to know all these things in great detail. And you can be a far better programmer than someone who's actually just working at the interpretive level, right? Because you can see all the way down to the bits and bytes. And I think that actually, so did this help, right? So what we've done here is created a simple program and basically compiled it and run it without using an IDE on the command line, all right? So let's go back to the IDE, meaning that let's go back to that place where you type the program. I will just want to show you what happens in the background, right? When you run it, you just see the output, but this is exactly what happens. We did the whole thing by hand. right? They just have some script doing it for you, and they're showing you the output, like I do in questing. Right? But you don't have to, right? I mean, if you have the time and the resources and you don't want pretty, fluff, you can just go to a terminal and do it yourself, right? Even questing, right? In questing, if you don't want to see all the pretty pictures and stuff like that, you can easily write a batch interface. I think there was a couple of maybe a year ago, there was a student who wrote a batch interface to the question system, so that if you were on a Linux system or even a Windows or Mac system, and you didn't want to go through the interface, the painful interface of dragging your files and so on and so forth, they wrote a command like this, right? G++, they had, a custom server, and it would basically take all your files, send it to the question system, get the results and put it right there, and it'll update all /q, everything happens, right? And they did all that. So you can do that. So all I mean is that VS Code, Xcode, even Mac, right? When many people use Mac and Windows, right? All of that goes back to one term that we talked about last class, and that is syntactic sugar. Yes? Because all of that is just different ways of taking what already happens and sugarcoating it in a way that will be suitable for certain demographics or certain populations, certain people, right? So make it so that it is appealing and easy for them to assimilate. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, think about it, right? If you have a useful message, you don't want people to focus on the superficial aspects. Yes? You want to make it as easy as possible for them to get past the superficial things, so they can appreciate the real value of it, right? But if you don't have the real value, you're going to make them stuck with the superficial aspects, so they can never get to the deep part and get to question you or get to appreciate the real stuff. So the goal of any system, if you look at it, right, all of these things out there, why they make it so easy for us to learn is that they don't want you to just master that. They want you to get past the door as quickly as you can, so that you can come in here and party with us, right? Where it's a lot more fun. And so, so as long as we have that intuition saying that it's fine, all right, doesn't matter, whatever it is, right? I have the most sophisticated interface in front of me. That's fine, I'll use it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what it's leading me to, right? If I want it, I can do that too. But I'm using that because it's, it saves me like, a bunch of time. Right? So once you get that attitude, all of your computers, any computer in this world will be your friend. Okay? It doesn't matter. Every computer will be your friend. So I think that's where we're going with this. It's good to have this intuition. So let's go to this program. And let's say here, I'll just give you a couple of examples of a loop. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put a couple of experiments here. And then these will be places that you can copy and paste into your code. And just look at why it's happening this way, right? So put a first comment. Under main, go to line number 5, end of line number 5, and hit enter. Right? And let's put a comment there saying, start a comment saying, guess what the value of n will be, or guess what the output will be. Guess what the output will be before you run it, right? Guess what the output will be before you run it, all right? And so above this line, let's choose a random number, okay, between 1 and 100, right? Let's choose a random number between 1 and 100 above this line. Go, yeah. So yeah, just do that thing that we did before. So int, I think what do we call it? You have to call srand, srand times 0, right? Go to the beginning of the line. Yeah, srand open bracket. Yeah, again, this is the second time we're typing this, right? It's practice for us. Srand and then time, and it's got to be lowercase. Second time you're making the same error, right? Is it autocorrect for you? Is it automatically?
No, it's just because I'm pretty sure. I think in Java or something.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, time and then 0 uppercase L, 0 uppercase L, right? And put a semicolon at the end, and put a comment there just for the benefit of people who just jump into this lecture, saying, seed the random number, seeding random number. All right. On the next line, just say int n equals rand % 100 plus 1. Right. So we're just gonna and then put a comment saying selecting a random number 1-100. All right. So we've got our n. All right. Now let's print the value of n right here. Say cout n equals Yeah. All right. Now say cout n equals n equals. All right. And then value of n and then end L. All right. Now what we're going to do is put an enter there at the end of the line. Next line. And what we'll do is here's something interesting we've not done before. But if you have any questions, you should ask either me or your friends. Okay. You should say cout hit enter after you have an answer in your mind. Okay, no, on the same line. It's a string. Hit enter after you have an answer in your mind. What will the output? What will the output? I don't know. I was trying to make this like a game, but never mind. Forget that, right? Okay, let's just do our loop here. Get rid of the line. I'm sorry, man. Just get rid of the line. I just guess. Right, on the next line, on line 12, just say while n plus is less than 10. All right, while n plus is less than 10, right? And then you're going to say just a semicolon. Okay, just a semicolon. Just just say a semicolon. No n plus. Okay. Now this is an idiom that says it's an empty loop. It is just going to increment n, not going to do anything. That's an empty statement. So put a comment there saying it's an empty statement. It's a valid statement, but it's an empty statement. Okay, just put a comment there. Okay, empty statement, but still valid. Okay, it's still valid. Okay.
Wait, is this going to increment n or is it not going to increment n? Like, I'm just curious, is this going to increment n? Like the
all right. So you're going to say
like statement here. Does this actually increment n, or does it just compare what n would be if it was one higher?
All right, so you can find out, right? This is a way to find out, and you can discuss it, right? And so at the end, instead of hello world, say n equals, right? Oh no, you can say, yeah, you can say n equals, right? You can say n equals again. In fact, copy that line 10 and replace line 18 with line 10. Triple click on that and hit Control C. Triple click and hit Control C. All right. Yeah. All right. So all right, now what we want to do is essentially run this and then well, make up our I don't know, and it's going to choose n randomly and it's not going to wait for us. You know, put a C in there. Put hit enter when you're ready. After choosing n, just say hit enter when you're ready. On line 12, line 12, just say C out, hit enter when you're ready. Which is, you know, it's a hacky way to do this, but you get the idea, right? You can clean it up later on your own, right? C out, yeah, hit enter when ready. Hit enter when you're ready. Say on the no, not you want the string within quotes. Say hit enter when you're ready. Hit enter when you're ready. Right? Yeah, when ready. That's fine. And then so end line there. Oh, yeah, that's fine too, because they're going to hit enter, right? Now you say C in, and then we want a string, right? We want a string. Okay, so we'll declare a string variable out there. Say user input. Say user input, or say S or str or whatever it is. String, yeah. Right, that's it. Enter, hit enter, and we'll just clean up with the code a little bit, so to group things together like paragraphs in English. Okay, just hit enter after the CN, after the CN. No, not after the scene, after the scene line, after the scene line, after the scene line. Yeah, and also, yeah, actually, that looks good. That's good. In fact, take the line number 20 and push it up against the while so that that thing is, you know, one unit, like one chunk. All right, good. So when we run this, it's going to choose n, tell us what n is, and then it'll give us a moment to make up our minds as to what it's going to print. And then when we hit enter, it's going to print something, and we can check if what we is that okay? Does it work? All right, okay. So let's run it. Okay, now n equals 80. What is it going to print? All right, don't hit enter. All right, what is it going to print? Is it going to print 79 or 80 or 81? No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to play this game now. Okay, you can play this game on your own. Now, the thing that you should experiment with other people, maybe Kylie does, instead of n plus plus, I'm going to do plus plus n. Yes. Okay, you can try the same experiment. Same and see, oh wow, it's different. Why is it different? Okay, and then maybe someone else tries something else, minus, right? Or n minus n. So try all these variations and see how, because I think all the other mechanics of loops, so straightforward, okay? Everybody can get that very easily. It doesn't take you a lot of time. People spend a lot of time drilling in. Oh, you know, these are different ways of trying to do for loops, different ways. And you waste a lot of time learning all these things, but all of those things can be learned by you in 10 minutes. Really, the greatest struggle I've found in all my students is getting a firm grasp of when expressions are calculated, because those are so critical when you construct loops and, you know, have these conditional tests. So N++, because one of the worst bugs to bite you are called corner bugs, right? Corner case bugs. When you have your logic correct, but you're just missing off one tip of the solution, right? And the entire system crashes because of that. Have you had, you haven't had a chance. You haven't had a chance to experience that. Maybe you've had a chance to experience that in a different realm of life, right? But this will happen so frequently in computer programs. And so in the corner cases, this is what will save you, right? If you have a firm intuition about what plus and minus do when it's on this side and that side, and the only way you can get a firm intuition is by trying out at least 100 to 500 different contexts in which you use plus, right? Plus and minus. You got to try. You just can't read about it. You can say, oh, right, never works. You got to try it out. And in order to try it, you got to just keep coding where you get opportunities to use plus and minus in this way and that way. Does it make sense? Was this useful to you? Right? Because a lot of people enroll in CS2A and also, read up and they master things, but they can't program, right? Even after finishing, right? They can pass, they can program. What's the use? So I want all of you to become programmers too, because that's the way you can appreciate the real nuggets of C++ and C, computer science itself. So is everybody okay with this? What time is it now, by the way? We got a half hour. Okay, so we actually have time for each of you to create a file, right? Your own. So Brian.cpp, right? Keenan.cpp, each one, different one, doing a variation of this with minus or plus on this side, that side. You can do more conditions too. You can Google for different ways in which you can have the condition. Because right now we have a very simple condition. We say have this number, compare it with 10, and then increment it. That's our only condition, right? You can have more conditions. You can say a condition in which this number needs to be divided by 10, and the remainder needs to be 0. So it needs to be a multiple of 10. Right? So you can have complex conditions. Or you could say, it has to be a multiple of 7 and it has to be a weekday. Right? You can have many different conditions, right? So play around with these Booleans and conditionals, because that is really the bread and butter of computer science, right? Because a lot of people miss out on the bread and butter and just go straight to the filling, right? And you go to Subway, you can eat the filling all day long. You will not feel filled, right? Even though they call it filling. So just get really solid with this. This is enough time for you, right? You got 20 minutes, 20 solid minutes for you to hash out many different variations of the simple program. It's only 10 lines. So I'm going to turn it around. So I'm not looking at you, not looking at your faces, not looking at the screen. I will be within earshot, right? Anytime you have your stuck, you need my input, you need me to ask you, or you need me to come in and say, hey, you guys, don't all crowd in the same window even, because sometimes people don't listen to fellow classmates, right? You need a prof to come in and say, hey, all of you go to your windows, right? Not everyone in Keenan's window or something like that. Okay, so I'm happy to do that too. And sometimes I have to come in and crack my whip, right? Like a teacher. Not that I enjoy it, but I'm happy to do that if it's going to help you function better. Okay, I want you all to be functioning as a cohesive unit, right? Not as just individual pistons trying to each getting their own summit. So I shouldn't see more than one cursor. Okay, I still saw anonymous turtle flash here. There's 3 other users in Noah's window. Hey Noah, is everybody okay with this? Noah, are you comfortable enough to basically, if someone else has an issue, you can also call me, right? There's a bunch of people here who've coded also. They can help out, or you can call me. Is everybody okay with this, right? If you're okay with it, I'd like to give you 20 minutes of time to code on your own, while I offer, right? I don't have to. I offer not to watch either your face or the computer, right? Or the screen, right? I won't even watch the video if you want, right? I'll just watch the last 5 minutes to make sure the trim points are correct, okay? But I won't watch it. All this time is yours. You can go ahead and play with the code, make silly mistakes, right? Make silly mistakes, crash the system even, crash the system. They don't care, I can assure you, right? And play around. And that's the way. The way to get there is to break things, right? Not break everything, break things that are breakable and intended to be broken, right? They put it out there for you to break it and to learn. So just go ahead and break it. So go ahead and try to learn, and always call out to me, right? Call out to me if you have any issues, right? And try to cooperate with your cameras on if possible, or at least be vocal so that your classmates know that you're here, right? Also, I mentioned this from the video perspective. If future students are motivated enough to go to our videos and watch them, right? They usually pick ones which have lots and lots of smiley faces. Okay, they're not going to pick one with lots and lots of gray rectangles, right? So all of the previews generated by YouTube are basically, I'm pretty sure, with all these gray rectangles when we don't have people participating. So make sure you do that. And I think it will be greatly appreciated, not just by me, right? Or Canvas or the system. It'll be appreciated by lots and lots of people, right? That's what you're here for, really. Right? So you'll have a great deal of fun. All right, thank you very much, man. Can you guys take over from now? I'm here, right? I'm going to be here. You can always call me, okay? I'm going to be here. Where is Zane? Someone's got to remind him, okay? So maybe he sent me an email and I forgot, okay? But ask him to watch the video. All right, everybody okay with this?
Mhm. Yep.
All right. Thanks. All right, I'm going to turn it around so that you can feel completely unconstrained, right? No cramping of your style. Just feel free to play around in the coding window and have fun trying out various versions of the looping structure. And you can copy the code too, right? You can copy from here to your window. All right, thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm going to see you on Tuesday. Please don't fritter away the weekend, okay? It's week 3. Don't think that, okay, well, I got to catch up on all these other classes and come back. You got to do this every day. You got to do a little bit of coding every single day. You can't say, I'll take 2 days away from this and go to math and then come back after 2 days. It's harder. Just do this every day. Every day, just like 1 hour apart for coding. Maybe the first 20 minutes, you don't do any coding at all, right? Your mind doesn't get into it. It's wandering, it's watching, that's fine. Maybe the first 2 days even, you manage to get 0 work done, but spend the entire 1 hour on CS2A, even if it's 0 productivity. Slowly, that number will start increasing, right? And then you get to a place where that entire system. You got to code every day, at least once every day. All right. All right. Thanks. All right. Take it away and call me anytime you want.
Is there a way for multiple people to run their own file like at once?
I was just thinking that I don't think so. Maybe if we open up a whole different browser for coding rooms, but everyone shares the same shell, I think.
Can anybody explain to me what the while n++ is less than 10 is?
It picks a random number. From what I understand, it picks after n is made, n stays as whatever it is, but then n++ increments the value, the random generated number by 1, and then so while it's stuck in the while, it just takes the number that's +1, +1, +1 until it hits the breaker.
Does the number after the modulo give you the range pretty much?
Okay,
Yeah,
that I don't
if
like
it's
the
one
100
number
plus
less
1.
than that.
Okay.
So that's why you
Yeah.
gotta add the 1.
Okay, so you just pick your number and then that's your range and then you add 1?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If I didn't have the +1, would that be a range of 0 to 99?
Yes.
Gotcha.
I think, yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Hey guys, are you still here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
All right.
Yep. Did someone just
Someone's coding out a
compute
bunch of numbers.
700,000 numbers?
Sorry, I think that was me. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
You guys still here?
Yep.
Yep. Miss Later. Hey, when you hit run, does that run your own code or does that run like the top of the line or something? So like yeah, like alphabetically. Because I think I was hijacking someone's code without knowing it in the shell.
I think you have to choose your own when you run it.
Yeah, you choose the down arrow and then you choose your own there.
Oh, choose that little file toggle on the left side. You click and then you kind of hit run.
You know that little down arrow next to the green run button?
Oh no, wait. Yeah, you drop. Oh, they didn't pick your name from there.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so I kind of was in the whole thing.
What are you guys working on? I'm kind of lost. I don't know what to do.
I'm trying to get a little program to run that says you're watching water boil and then it just slowly increments up until the boiling point. So just like a +1+1 type of program.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
You could do like it's not a while. Did he want us to do a while loop in this little session?
A what loop?
For a while, like while parameter is
Oh,
lower
wow.
than, yeah, while, yeah. Were we supposed to implement something like that this time? Or did we kind of
I
just
don't know. I
you
don't
didn't
know if
mention
there's
it.
any.
Gotcha. Oh, jeez. So apparently that happens.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. And then congratulations. I guess I need to put like a number code out. Huh.
can somebody who knows how to use condition statements better than me look at mine? I'm struggling. I don't know if it's a problem with how I have it format or what, but for some reason on line 17, like it's like not accepting the equals.
What was the problem again?
What's up?
Oh, what was the problem you said in line 17?
Here, I'll run it.
Oh, gotcha. Equal to n.
Like, look, it's not. If you scroll up,
I think the problem is the fact it's the type. Like it's either double, integer, or it's a string. Because you're going to be typing user input's going to be registering as a string variable, but the n is a number. So even if you say 36, the computer's got to read that as the word 36 rather than the numerical value 36. So that's going to be a different binary. So it's not going to actually be equal. So that's literally the number one case for whenever there's like
so do you know how I would be able to do this?
You'd have to, I think when you do CN user input, you then need to convert that to a number. So maybe in front of your CN greater than user input, you'd put something like I think it'd be like double, or it might be int. It'd be something to tell the computer to read that as a number. Okay, so double does register, so it should be, yeah, so convert that.
Like this, maybe?
Yeah, you could then, yeah.
Or maybe I could do like, I could just do an X.
It's just X, yeah, and then put X into if X is equal to N. And then try that. Okay, so.
Okay, well.
Why wouldn't you just start by defining it as an integer or a double? Like instead of defining it as a string here. Because you're not using it as a string ever, right?
Oh yeah, true. So if you were to like originally define
How do I form it as a string or as a integer?
As a double? Well, by under int main, you defined it as a string. So he was just saying if you were to just take out the string and put in double at the beginning. Now yeah.
Or for the last quest, the professor used the iStringStream command, which I'm pretty sure you can use to convert between like strings and streams, which should let you
like what we're kind of gotcha.
Yeah. You could use
what was the name of that code again? What was the function?
iStringStream.
iStringString?
iStringStream.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister. I think
Yeah.
like a stream as in like a river stream.
Yeah. Like the code stream of code, right? It was in the Limerick one. Yeah, the Limerick one from the last quest.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna head out.
All right.
See you guys.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 10:10. Yeah, all right. I'm headed too.
All right.
Thanks, Professor.
See you guys.
Tuesday.
Hey guys, are you here?